Football Power Hour! And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, Manchester United today have dropped a bombshell on us. It has just happened maybe 3 hours ago, 3.5 hours ago. Fabrizio Romano, everybody reporting about it. Manchester United on the website giving an official update. We are going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Detective John Myrtle. We're going to talk about also the potential loss that Manchester United are going to face when we actually lose out on Sofyan Amrabat to Liverpool. This is just one of those moments where we're like, hold on a second. We were just laughing at Chelsea and Liverpool and the love triangle. And now it might come back to bite us. It might come back. It might end up being a situation where Man United lose out. But anyway, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so. My name is Botswanapapi. Let's go ahead and talk about it.
Bruno Fernandes! It's Martial! Just waiting on the back post. Surely he'll be found. And scores first Premier League goal at Old Trafford.
Shout out to you, Stephanie, in the building saying even and Papi. Shout out to Kush saying Oga. Everybody stand up. Everybody hold on a second because something is about to happen right now at Manchester United. The main thing is there's been an update, and the update is there will be an update. Manchester United took the time today to tell us that the update is there will be an update, which, to be honest, you have to ask yourself, what is going on? If you don't know what we're talking about, let me just fill you in real quick. Manchester United employee, player, generational talent called Mason Greenwood. Obviously, where do we start? There was some pictures. There was audio clips that surfaced via Instagram, and it was alleged. Matter of fact, I think it might have been from Mason Greenwood's partner's Instagram account or Mason Greenwood's account. It doesn't matter. It surfaced online, and there were very disturbing images and very disturbing, horrific audio clip recordings that you could say there's definitely some form of sexual abuse happening in here. And Mason Greenwood was in there. His voice was in there. And after this, obviously, we were all shocked. The world was shocked. Manchester United fans around the world were shocked. Matter of fact, shocked is almost an understatement. There was just so much waves that this story caused, rightfully so, because of the gravity of the situation. And now we are forced as Manchester United fans to come to a moral grappling with a situation that we don't really need to be grappling with. But because of how it's been handled, because of how long it's dragged out, we are forced to come to this situation after match day 1, when school has started, when things are in session. We are now having to be like, hold on a second. How do we feel about seeing Mason Greenwood in a Manchester United shirt? Will you celebrate when Mason Greenwood scores? Will you listen to a post-match interview when Mason Greenwood is interviewed and has to pick up the match ball? Would you listen to a Mason Greenwood pre-match press conference? Well, sometimes how managers and players do a press conference together. All those things are kind of situations that we're going to have to face whether we like it or not, because this, by the way, this player has not played football for almost 2 years, competitive football for almost 2 years. And now there's no guarantee that the same player is coming. There's the only thing that we can sort of bank on is from the footballing side. When you're just looking about the footballer, what he brings to Man United and what Mason Greenwood brings to the table is like, you have potential, but there is also the fact that he's just a player. We cannot run away from the fact that there have been many great players that have come to Man United and left Man United, and then many great players that were almost at Man United and didn't come to Man United, and Manchester United has been fine. So at the end of the day, this is one of those situations where we have to see how it unravels, because Man United have told us something without telling us anything. Let's go on to the statement real quick and say, let's see what it is that they're talking about. Percy says, football power in a building. Big up to you, Percy. Kush says, we are updating you that there will be an update. That sounds like African politicians to me, Kush, doesn't it? They go, we have come together to form a committee that will select the committee, because we want to make sure that there's no bias in the selection. And that is how Manchester United are moving with this. It's dragged on for so long, Let's go to the official update so that we try unpack it real quick and see Wagwan here. What did Man United say about three hours ago, following the dropping of all charges against Mason Greenwood in February 2023? Man United has conducted a thorough investigation into the allegations made against him. You'd expect for it to be thorough. If it's taken this long, it's gotta be thorough. What y'all been doing this whole time? The whole thing that's frustrated me about this whole thing is, why has this taken so long? Detective John Myrtle, why? Were they questioning people, bringing them to the office, to the Carrington office? What was going on? Anyway, let's continue with the update from the official update from Manchester United. It reads, this has drawn on extensive evidence and context, not in the public domain. And we've heard from numerous people with direct involvement or knowledge of the case. Okay. We've heard from numerous people. So definitely, I guess now they're asking us to be detectives, because Detective Meto has been doing his thing. Detective fans, we're going to put our pieces together and try and connect these dots. Okay, so numerous people have been contacted, and there is a little bit of an allusion that there is some evidence that is not in the public domain. I don't know how you're reading this, but that's how I'm interpreting that. Let's continue with it. It says, throughout this process, the welfare and perspective of the alleged victim has been central to the club's inquiries, whatever part of the world you're from, and we respect her right to lifelong anonymity. That's the first respectable thing I've read from these three long sentences already. That's the first thing you can be like, okay, all right. The update is something, The update shows there's a little bit of a humane side to the organization called Manchester United from the communications department. That's what we can gather so far. Anyway, it goes on. We also have responsibilities to Mason as an employee. Hold on. We calling him an employee? Okay. All right. Keep going. It says we all have responsibilities to Mason as an employee, as a young person who has been with the club since the age of 7, and as a new father with a partner. We are definitely looking like we've moved on past that situation. It's smelling like we are looking at Mason Greenwood, the father, the family man, and also we're looking at Mason Greenwood's loyalty to Man United. That's what it's the tone of this. Let me know if you feel differently. If I'm unpacking it differently, that's part of this. We're trying to put the pieces together right now. The fact-finding phase of our investigation is now complete. Okay. So what are the results? The results, the sentence goes on to say, and we are in the final stages of making a decision on Mason's future. Get out of here, man. Make the damn decision and then come and tell us what the decision is. If it's complete, it means it's incomplete. If the fact finding phase is complete, why are you telling me stage one and then from maybe are you trying to coerce me? Are you trying to prepare me and the rest of the fans for something? Contrary to media speculation, that decision has not yet been made and is currently the subject of intensive internal deliberation. Responsibility ultimately rests with Chief Executive Officer. Someone get Germerto on the phone. Because this is all that they could have just said, update, we're waiting on John to decide. Boom, done. You know, the last part of this post from the communications department from Manchester United reads, by the way, once made, the decision will be communicated and explained to the club's internal and external stakeholders. No mention of the fans, huh? You don't care about them at all, huh? Okay. This has been a difficult case for everyone associated with Man United, and we understand the strong opinions it has provoked based on the partial evidence in the public. Oh, another clue about partial evidence. This is the second time they're saying, definitely John Murto has seen some stuff we haven't seen. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm reading. It says on the last sentence, we ask for patience as we work through the final stages of this carefully considered process. All right. Definitely the time factor for me is one major concern why this has dragged on so long, but they can hide behind the fact that they were carefully considering all the parties that they could consider, etc., just to tell me that he's coming back. Just like Kush just said right now, he's coming back. It seems like he's coming back. And when you look at the temperature for me, Kush, the parties that I was also interested in was the sponsors, because I thought that the real puppet masters, that the controllers of the situation. But, you know, we have to mention this from Adidas. This update from Adidas says, I quote, after inaccurate and speculative reporting within the media, it's important for us to reiterate that Adidas plays no role in any decisions made regarding any members of the team or staff at the club. Decisions are exclusively between the club and the employees. Source, The Athletic FC. Guys, it's safe to say he's coming back. The pieces, all the arrows are pointing towards Greenwood coming back. And even Ecolab says, any question relating to the players and the operations of the club, we would refer to Manchester United. It sounds like they're washing their hands. They're saying, we as the sponsors, as partial sponsors, we are distancing ourselves from the situation. If Man United decides to fire that cook, it's between them and them. If they decide to fire that bus driver, it's between Man United, and we're just an independent entity in this situation. And you know what? It's no cap says it right. This is the Adidas disclaimer right here. Man United got that Adidas money already. They just announced a 10-year deal, and probably part of the deal, if these guys are moving the way they might be moving, is they went and put in a clause in there that, look, make sure that we know, we have this agreement that how we treat our employees, what happens is internal. It's almost like that thing where, since we're going to take it back to Africa again, it's almost like when the colonizers, when the former colonies say, all right, what we do in our country is our matter. The West should not interfere. So it looking like they already got that understanding between the sponsors and the organization, that this is going to be one of those situations where they do not interfere, and they can, if they have a unified tone as sponsors, then they even, the situation helps with the reintegration of Mason Greenwood. And at the end of the day is, how do you feel as a fan? How do you feel knowing that you've heard, the last time you heard his voice was, in a very nasty voice note. And then, this is going to be whatever decision they take, it's going to really, really, really not be good. And my frustration is the timing of it. Why are we going to wait till after match day one and have a potential moment of turbulence? If we keep him, what is going to happen with all that potential division and turbulence that he brings? Will the dressing room be divided? Well, any time when the form of the team drops, would it be the media be coming in being like, is Mason, is it because of Mason Greenwood that maybe some players are not as connected as is, you know what I mean? There's a whole lot of drama that this whole situation brings, that at the same time you have to just be objective about it and say, as a fan, whether the court of law said he's guilty or not guilty, as a fan, as a person who, even if you're not a Man United fan, as a rival fan or a football fan, you have to look at the situation with a little bit of the delicacy that it deserves, because this is a domestic violence. This is a sexual abuse situation. If you actually know how many women are abused, you would. Do you guys remember that time when COVID was still new? And some guys didn't believe COVID until they got it. And then they're like, oh, yeah, we got to mask up. We got to sanitize. We got to whatever. But, it's like the distance between you and a certain issue and an event sometimes depends on how close it has been to you. If once that family member got COVID, then you're like, oh, this is really real. We're going to have to wear a mask. There's a little bit of that thing when we're talking about the situation, because, some people don't even know how serious domestic abuse is. I'll just share a stat from Melissa Reddy real quick that she just shared. Shout out to Melissa Reddy. 1.7 million women, okay, are domestic abuse victims in the UK last year. Charges in just 1.9% of 67,169 rape cases in 2022. It takes 7 attempts on average before a woman finally leaves an abusive partner. Risk of serious assault or death, highest for a woman after she leaves. No partial evidence. This is reality. That right there is facts. That right there means some people need a little bit can take this Mason Greenwood conversation as a moment of education, because you have to know that these different issues affect people differently. These things can be so triggering. Seeing him in a Man United shirt can be so triggering. And somebody can be like, well, it's not my fault. It's not my responsibility to worry about how other people think or what other people say. I'm just worried about if he was proven guilty or not guilty. And we operate from that, standpoint. And, fine. It's your opinion. It's your prerogative. Everybody has a right. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. You know what I'm saying? But then there's this thing called Stockholm Syndrome, guys. If you do not know about Stockholm Syndrome, let's make this a moment of education real quick and look at what Google has to say. Stockholm Syndrome is a coping mechanism to a captive or abusive situation. People develop positive feelings towards their captors or abusers over time. This condition applies to situations including child abuse, coach-athlete abuse, relationship abuse, and sex trafficking. Lord. It's a psychological bond that happens between two people, and it's related to something as horrible as this. And some people can be like, why are we holding on? Why are we on? Mason Greenwood and his partner have moved on from the situation. Other fans are just, this situation is complex. It's bigger than just Mason Greenwood and the partner and their baby. It is, what does the decision by Man United represent? What does it mean to victims around the world? of similar situations, to potential perpetrators and perpetrators of this type of situation. What does this mean and what does it represent as a choice? Because these people, at the end of the day, Mason Greenwood is a person of influence. He's a person of celebrity status. And this is a moment where Man United has an opportunity to have a moral statement, to tell us exactly what kind of organization they are. Is it an organization that cares about just the football, or is it an organization that cares about the human? Is it an organization that's about rehabilitation? What type of rehabilitation will they recommend? Will they send him out on loan? Still say keep him as a Man United employee? Will they? All this remains to be unseen, because that is the update on the Mason Greenwood situation. And the last thing that I wanted to touch on about that is actually, let's see, it didn't come out from not too long ago that there is some internal grumblings, as you would expect. Another familiar source with the club's inner workings said there have been internal grumblings over United's decision. This is per Samuel Lockhurst. So you would expect this to be a divisive topic because of the nature and and how serious it is. But at the end of the day, you as a fan, you are also asked to come to a moral decision about this. Man United, they dropped this bombshell on us, and we're about to really brace for a bigger bombshell, I believe. Percy says, come on. Come on, Sevilla. Let's get back to the football. No Cap says, big man ting. The VNs were mad, but I don't think he should be dropped. No Cap, you're entitled to your opinion. Those voice notes were really mad. Those voice notes were really crazy. They're hard to forget. But at the same time, his man is a person, he deserves to rehabilitate. He deserves a second chance. It may not be at Man United. It may be at Man United. We shall wait and see what the decision is. CPS said, NFA guys. Vibe says, fuck 11 and this club. Rightfully so. You have the right to feel that way. Kush goes, Man United is a business, and business and morality never intersect. They never collide, says Kush. Yo, we're going to know a little bit more about this situation and where, if at all, Man United are seeming to be like, there's a bit of a humanness about this update. That's all that I'm reading from it now. And there's something moral about being human, or an organization being a little bit human. Let me see also real quick comment from Don. If you're saying this is bigger than Mason, do we have to abandon him or support him? As for every person deserves a second chance in life. Don, that decision is up to you as an individual. That is why I'm saying as long as you buy the merch, as long as you support the club, you have to actually now ask yourself, how do you as Don feel? And I mentioned this, that everybody deserves a second chance. Everybody deserves an opportunity to learn and become a better person. That is what you ultimately want from this whole situation. I'm not one of those people that is like, no, let's all forget. It is done. It's all about, for me, everybody can heal and become better from this. Man United does not need the divisions and potential drama that he comes with. But at the same time, that is for me not to say. It's for John Merto and Richard Arnold to say, almost says, I support my club. And that is a fair stance too. There are some people that says my support for the club, whether I morally disagree or agree with the situation, my support for the club is unwavering. And that is commendable, because at the end of the day, you loved Man United before Mason Greenwood ever came to the picture, before he was even born, So you can never change that, right? Almost, he says, I want to watch my football game, period. Let's focus on the football. And then sometimes there's also this fantasy about why are we fascinated with people and beyond that work? this celebrity fascination is another thing to bring into question. Is like, why are we so wanting to know everything about a person's life? If you want to be like Omo and just watch your football game, watch your footballers, you also have a right to do that. Anyway, Joe says, that's not what you said on my show. 100 vibes. Joe got the receipts. Yo, you said, get that nigga out my club. I did say that. Because there is also a valid frustration in expressing that. There is a valid frustration in that, because you don't want the divisions. I just want the club to be focused. I love the cohesive unit that Ten Hag has built, and we don't have crazy leaks. While such a it's almost gone back to the football, It's not that Erik Bailly or this person is leaking this information and this is what's going on. It's gone back to the football with Ten Hag, and I wish it stays in that way, And with Greenwood, man, it's going to be tough for it to stay in that way. But what Man United do is not up to me. Oh Lord, why says I followed bots on Twitter and he blanked it. Celebrity lifestyle. No, this our fascination with celebrity life and celebrities has to be questioned for real. It's like, bruh, this is almost point about I just want to watch my football is so valid, And if Man United say, all right, these are the footballers you're watching, are you gonna turn off? Are you gonna look away when the ball goes to the right hand side of the pitch? Are you gonna, not? Are you gonna be like, 1-0 United, but it's Greenwood or what? All those we're gonna wait and see. I cannot stress how frustrated I am with the timing of this. All this could have been avoided if we sorted this situation out before going to America, Edinburgh, and all the places that we went. John Myrtle, it's time for you to be focusing on Amrabat now. We've segued all the way to the Amrabat part of the show, because Amrabat, ladies and gentlemen, it's increasing. The steam is increasing of Amrabat going to Liverpool, and we are going to look like absolute mumus, absolute mad, stupid, incompetent fools if Amrabat goes to Liverpool, because we've been watching the merry-go-round between Chelsea and Liverpool for Caicedo and Lavia, and we were just not getting the Amrabat deal done. Amrabat has long expressed his love for Man United, and we have not come to get him. Why? Now reports are coming out that Sofian Amrabat has held talks with Liverpool. Amrabat has been on United's radar all summer, but talks are yet to develop, with the Red Devils wary of FFP restrictions. Amrabat is growing agitated with the hold-up of his potential move to MUFC. I would be agitated. I'd be like, I'm not trying to buy the club. I'm just trying to play. What's taking so long? 30 mil for McTominay, 30 mil for Maguire, 60 mil. You pay Fiorentina, and I get him on the plane. What's taking so long? If we lose out on Amrabat because we said no, we'd rather keep McTominay and Maguire, Man United will be the biggest fools of the transfer window. Facts. I'd be like, Man United, John Myrtle, Richard Arnold. Someone early on said, trust the process. My thought was, what's the process? I'm going to end the video right now. I feel like I'm not even going to, I don't feel, this is such a weird topic, weird show that I'm not going to be like, I'm going to subscribe, actually. I think I might have said that at the beginning, but it's just such a, this is going to be awkward. Imagine a player, even if it's not Mason Greenwood, and it's like, Mary Earps or even a Man United male, player just being, all right, the game was good, we gave her all, blah, 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 blah. A reporter is going to slide in. How do you feel about Mason Greenwood's return? Are you in, We don't need that at Man United. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. And Joe with the receipts saying that's not what we I appreciate Vibes says I don't blame Amrabat. We still haven't made a bid. We are definitely this is the Cody Gakpo sequel that Kush was talking about at the beginning. We're gonna lose out to Cody just because of our incompetence. Man United transfer department.
Get right here, man.
Joe Blackman.
Get right here, man.
He says we should have bid anyway. Get the peace together later. Peace. we already live in debt. Oh Lord. if we're already in debt, it's like then why not? Just go ahead. You know, we're already in negative. The FFP police are already looking for us. Go ahead and get the damn Sophia and Amrabat African in the building. We need the second African, man. I'd be so happy if 2 Africans got signed by Manchester United in one transfer window. We've reached the 30-minute mark, ladies and gentlemen. We out of here. Peace.